lakini si Raila. Watu wachache kidogo, wachache tu. Mapua mbili tatu ndio inayumba, lakini si Raila Amolo Odinga.
Earlier today, the party also indicated not to have any political arrangements with the current regime, saying that any member of ODM who wishes to join President Ruto's cabinet will be doing so without the support of the party.
Aende peke yake, awache kudrag Azimio na awache kudrag majina za watu wa Azimio. Tunasema party leader wetu waheshimiwe kwa sababu he is a national leader. Na vile vile tunapongeza msimamo wa mheshimiwa Raila kwa kupindua msimamo wake kusema hataki kuungana na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza.
On its part, ODM, through its Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, in a statement said the party remains committed to its principles and the ongoing struggle for a better Kenya, dismissing the narrative created to make it look like ODM is desperate to join the government.
Na tunapongeza ile statement imetolewa leo na ODM ya kwamba wale wanaotaka kwenda waende peke yao, na sisi tunawashinikiza wanaotaka kwenda waende kivyao kama individuals. Waache kugawanya Azimio, waache kugawanya members wetu. Wao wana uwezo wa kwenda kivyao, lakini sisi tuko imara na hatutageuka, and we are not boarding in the existing government.
Last week, ODM listed at least 4 conditions they wanted implemented before they have any talks, including compensation to the families of the victims of extrajudicial executions and persons injured by the state since last year, and release all persons in custody and termination of all cases related to protests.
Hii ni mambo ya leadership, mismanagement, corruption. Tunataka president atoke kimaso awaeleze wa Kenya zile issues ambazo amepatiwa, atazitackle vipi, atazitackle lini, na yale anaweza kufanya afanye, na yale hawezi aambie wananchi. Hiyo tunataka transparency, hatutaki mambo mengi.
On his part, Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Opondo Peter Kaluma has called on President Ruto to ensure the Luo community is included in the CS appointments.
Everybody is in the government of Kenya except Luos. Yet Luos also pay taxes. Honorable Speaker, I therefore want to congratulate the President for the appointment, but request the President that within the week, as soon as tomorrow, we want to see those other appointments Baba was to forward to him. And we want all of them approved. And Honorable Speaker, if that can happen, then we are going to push this thing very fast. We cannot leave anybody out.
Robbie Omondi, K24.
Elsewhere, President William Ruto has, in a last-minute resolution, reshuffled Soipan Tuye to be the Defense CS nominee, while Aden Duale has been moved to the Environment docket. The fate of Rebecca Miano, who was nominated to become the first woman Attorney General, however, remains unknown after her name was omitted in the message to Parliament by the head of state. Joel Chacha now reports on what transpired as Parliament resumed its sittings after a 3-week recess.
With no reason cited in a last-minute cabinet reshuffle just 3 days after President William Ruto unveiled the first batch of 11 members of his cabinet, following his decision to dismiss the entire maiden cabinet, Soipan Tuye has now been nominated for the Defense Cabinet Secretary position, while Aden Duale has been moved to the Environment docket.
Honorable Rosalinda Soipan Tuye, AGH, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Defense. Honorable Aden Bare Duale, EGH, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry.
They normally say in Parliament, what you communicate is what is communicated and that is what is final. But I'm not sure whether this list is the same one, Mr. Speaker. We cannot change your records in Parliament, but we are really in doubt whether this is the real one. But we shall wait.
Why the list you have read to us is different from what the President read. We are starting from a very weak point on that basis alone, Mr. Speaker.
What is important is the record that comes to this House. And the record that has arrived in this House is what I have read to you.
Duale, through his X account, has expressed gratitude to the head of state while referring to the holy book of Quran that what you like might not be good and what you don't like might be good. Eyebrows have been raised as the just nominated Attorney General Rebecca Miano, who will become the first AG if approved by Parliament, with her name missing in the communication from President Ruto to the National Assembly.
This is the House of Parliament.
Her fate now hangs in the balance, or rather is unknown. However, she served previously in the trade docket after she was reshuffled from the EAC docket.
Therefore, imperative that the Committee on Appointments immediately commences the process of consideration of the nominees. The Committee on Appointments is expected to immediately notify the nominees and the general public, commence the necessary approval hearings, and table its report in the House soonest.
Parliament resumed its sittings for the first time today after Parliament proceeded on a 3-week recess following a deadly invasion by the Gen Z against the Finance Bill 2024.
If the President does not assent to a bill,
the Finance Committee of the National Assembly will on Wednesday table its report of withdrawal of the bill in its entirety. Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
The National Federation of Public Benefits Organizations, PBOs, have called on all civil and non-profit organizations to maintain accountability and transparency in their initiatives to drive for peace and stability amidst the ongoing countrywide protests. According to PBO Chair Stephen Cheboy, all organizations engaged in public benefit work in the country will be required to be registered before operating officially to fight any corruption.
In light of the ongoing countrywide demonstrations that have rocked the country, civil and non-profit organizations have been called upon to maintain transparency and accountability while conducting initiatives to aid Kenyans affected by the protests. This was a call by the National Federation of Public Benefits Organization, PBO, who have maintained that all organizations involved in public benefit works in the country be fully registered before operating officially. Last week, the state launched a probe into the activities of over 10 NGOs and entities it claims are not properly registered and are allegedly said to be fueling the protests.
The PS for State Department for Foreign Affairs wrote a letter to one of the donors supporting our organizations, and in the letter he sought to have the organization shed light on some of the funding opportunities or funding that has been extending to our NGOs. That is not too much. That is not to say that people should not keep information. Information is good. So that's why we are asking our NGOs, there is no harm that we keep being open at all times. Let us maintain openness.
This comes even as the National Consortium has condemned the move by the PBO Regulatory Authority to give names of the public benefits organizations to the DCI for investigations, saying the board is overstepping its mandate.
Instead of the PBO Regulatory Authority setting up infrastructure and mechanisms to operationalize the PBO Act, what they are doing is that now they are meddling in the affairs of certain PBOs, hiding under the issue of the Gen Zs. What they should do is to provide evidence, because they have the agencies that have the capacity to do investigation, and if there is any violation, they can present the cases to court.
Further, they have called for bilateral talks between the government and the Gen Zs in order to drive for peace and stability in the nation.
Wangekuwa wanasikiza wananchi, haya maneno ya Gen Z hayangetokea. Lakini kwa sababu walipuuza, walikuwa wanafanya kwa sababu iko kwa sheria ndio tusiulizwe. But wakakosa kuheshimu maoni ya wananchi.
Gertrude Burgay, K24 TV.
The Senate now wants the Treasury to come up with strategies to lower the cost of living and have the public debt audited, laying bare the recommended amendments of the State of the Nation that will provide a conducive environment for dialogue. While discussing the proposed amendments in the plenary on the State of the Nation, following the loss of lives, maiming and loss of property that has been occasioned by the anti-government protests, the Senate